What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the We Run on Coffee podcast with Marissa and Arika.
Hi, guys.
Marissa and Arika.
We are here.
In the mood of transparency, we will tell you that we are filming 2 episodes today.
Yes.
It's a doubleheader. So last week's episode that you all listened to, which was How to Move Halfway Across the Country, Marissa Hour. And today's episode, Top 10 Movies and TV Shows of All Time,
Yes.
are filmed on the same day. So
Yeah.
instead of doing our normal catch-up of what we did in the past week, because we just did that, we're going to tell you guys what we're looking forward to in the upcoming week.
Yeah.
Which will be really fun because then on next week's episode, we can see if they lived up to our expectations or not.
Yeah, hopefully they do.
Yeah. So what are you going to be looking forward to in this upcoming week?
So I actually left one thing out of what I did last week, and it kind of is it kind of is good for this episode. So on Friday, I went to a movie after work, and it was the new Scream movie that came out, and it was...
You love a spooky movie, huh?
I know, it was so good, and you guys will kind of see a theme to my list later when we're actually talking about TV shows and movies, not TV and movie shows. I don't know what I'm saying. But we went to go and watch that, and we went to a place called Alamo Draft House, and it's so cool. Okay. So you go into
I've heard of this.
Really?
That is a thing. Okay, my coworker is obsessed with these. She lives in New York City, and they have them.
Yeah, it's so cool. So you go into the movie theater, you sit down, and then a server comes up to you, and they serve you food and drinks and whatever you want throughout the entire movie. And it's a little bit pricey. The movie tickets are only like $14, which is like a typical movie, maybe a little bit less expensive than some. But the food is pretty pricey, but it was really good food. Like, I got the fried pickles, Kyle got a grilled chicken sandwich, and then the people we went with, they got the bottomless popcorn, which is only like $10, and they give you a really big tin of popcorn, so I don't think you'll ever actually go through it. But I think it's like... that's about the same price as popcorn everywhere else. And
I'm obsessed with popcorn at the movies. Like, I'm that girl.
It was so good. And I think like that's like a new movie going experience for me. I think I'm only going to go to like not high end, but like those like extra movie theaters. And those are so cool. I loved it.
So yeah, Angela went with me to New York City last year. Like, we just did a trip together, but I met up with my coworkers, and that was the first time meeting them in person. And my closest coworker, Kathleen, that's on my team, is obsessed with movies. She's a big film girl. She just went to, what is that called? Sundance.
Oh, okay.
I think in Utah, the film festival, and she's just super into it. And she was telling us, she was like, "You're staying on Staten Island. You have to go to this Alamo Draft House." We're like, "This what?" She's like, "It's the most premium movie viewing experience." She said, "It's the only place I go." And I was like, Angela would literally love this. And they were talking about it a little bit, but he hasn't tried it yet.
Yeah,
so
it's
that's
really
interesting.
Cool. You should definitely try it out.
We don't have them here.
Yeah, we can even go and see a movie when you guys come. And just like, if we have enough time, we could go and see one, and just so you can see how it works.
How it is, yeah. I mean, I'll be there for the food.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. What's really interesting, y'all, which this is a tangent, and we'll keep going with our catch up. But what's really interesting about this episode is that I'm a movie hater.
Oh, no.
So, yeah. I don't like movies usually, but I like the experience of going to a movie. Even if I don't care that much, I seriously love popcorn enough.
Yeah, it's
It'll
so
carry
yummy.
me through. But that's so exciting. Okay, what else do you got?
Well, that was my only thing that I didn't mention in the last episode that I did this past week.
So exciting. Yeah.
But I'm really excited because Kyle's here this week for his spring break. And since he's here and it's like March and he's moving in June, we're going to try and go to a bunch of different apartments and just tour. We have one scheduled right now, so hopefully that place ends up working out. And I know you guys heard in the last episode about me and Kyle being like one and done, putting all our eggs in one basket kind of people. But hopefully we'll be able to find a couple.
Trying.
We'll hopefully be able to try and find a couple different places to go and look at, just so we can kind of see our different options. And like maybe we can go to different like towns and like cities and stuff, and just kind of try and see what's all around this area.
That's so exciting. It's kind of crazy because I feel like this is your guys' first step of it's really happening.
Yeah.
Like, we're doing it.
Yeah, we were talking.
Getting it started.
Again, we were talking last night about everything, and we were talking about like how we need to sit down, like maybe after like a month or a week of living together, and like have like a financial check-in, because like like we have like, I don't really need to budget completely on my own because it's just me. Like, I know what my needs are. Like, I don't really have to worry too much. And like, there's so many things that are out of my control right now. It's really hard to budget for. But once he moves in and we have like our set salaries and everything, we'll be able to like talk better. And with that, we'll be like, okay, how much do we need to allocate towards rent, towards travel, towards bills and expenses like that. And I'm excited for that.
That's inspiring to me. I think we should do an episode about it.
I think we should.
Like, if you're open to that. Because I would love to talk about the way that couples split finances, because some people do half and half. Some people do, if you make more, you pay a little more. You know, some people just, like, someone will pay the electric, someone pays the gas. Like, so many different ways to split it up. And I love talking about that stuff. So I would totally love to do an episode on that.
Yeah.
And you guys are, like, starting this fresh.
Yeah. So we can have, like, you and Angela's point of view of doing it for a couple of years now versus our, like, new perspective. But I was talking to him, and I was like, I know that Arika has, like, these spreadsheets that she goes off of. And I love spreadsheets, but it's so hard for me to make them. And I was like, maybe I can ask her for, like, a little template so I could run off of hers and just... like, I love work off of it.
Yeah, we should do a Zoom call, like, this week or this weekend, and I'll show you mine, because I, like, don't care if you see how much money I make. So I love that. But I also have another financial tip for couples. So I don't know if I should say it. I'll save it. I'll tell you after, and then I'll save it for the episode, because we're not doing that today. But I would love to do that.
Yeah. It would be so fun. We could do a whole financial episode.
Yes. Well, we should do that soon. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah.
That's exciting. That's going to be a fun week ahead for you guys to do that.
And I also start my new volleyball league this week, the spring league. That's right. So that'll be exciting to see like how this team works together and everything.
So is it a new team? New people?
There's some people that are the same, but some of them are new that I haven't played with before.
Oh, that's really cool. All right, let's see if they're undefeated.
We'll see.
They have a big hype to live up to.
Yes.
Wow, that's so awesome. Okay, I only have one thing I'm looking forward to this week, which sounds really depressing, but I promise it's not. I'm going to Nashville this week.
Yay!
So I'm really excited about that. We're leaving on Friday, and we're just doing a quick weekend in the city with Angelo and Angelo's dad, who's never been. And I'm a little discouraged because it looks like it might rain the whole time, which is really sad. We have like hikes planned and stuff. Like I've planned all our days out. But actually Natalie was listening to the last episode, and she texted me and she's like, when are you coming? And I was like, oh, I'm coming in like next weekend or whatever. So we may or may not meet up with Natalie and Kaden, which if you all don't know is Angela's cousins and Kyle's brother and sister basically. So that will be exciting. We may or may not see them, but they're moving. So
they are moving.
Busy.
They might be.
Yeah. She said, text me and remind me and see if we're moving or not.
Yeah.
So that's exciting, but I'm just excited to go on a little trip. I haven't been anywhere in a minute, and I get big winter blues, seasonal depression vibes. Like I just get in a rut. So traveling is like the one thing that really brings me out of it, but traveling is very expensive.
Yes.
So, that's the struggle, but I'm just excited to go do something, whatever it may be. But yeah, that's about all I got for this week. I'm excited for the week ahead, and we'll check in with you guys next week and see like if our plans were exciting. Updates for Marissa and Kyle's apartment hunt.
I know.
That'll be cool to talk about.
See if we sign anywhere.
Yeah. So in our last episode, we talked about what we were drinking, but mine has changed. How's yours?
I'm just drinking water now. So
I'm just drinking water now. All right, we're boring on this episode, guys. I'm so sorry. Head back to the last one to hear our coffee orders, but we finished our coffee.
Yes.
It's a morning. So, yep, just drinking water out of my Stanley Dupe still.
I'm drinking water out of my old Starbucks cup that says Merry Coffee.
Merry a Christmas cup. That is really, really funny. Well, we're just going to dive right in. This may be a shorter episode. We'll see.
We'll see what kind of tangents we can go on with our movies and TV shows.
We're going to talk about our top 10. Well, I have 9.
That's okay. I have 10.
9 or 10. Okay, good.
I have 10, but some of mine are series, so I can talk a little bit more about those.
Okay. Yeah, so we're all good. We will talk about our top 10. If you guys are new listeners, you may not realize this yet, but we do a top 10 every month. The first time we did our top 10 favorite products of the month. The last one we did...
Amazon,
that's right. I couldn't remember. Amazon. And we kind of follow different themes each time. So now we're going to talk about our top 10 TV shows and movies. And as we go on, let us know if you have ideas that you guys want us to do a top 10 on. You can DM us on Instagram, comment, leave a 5-star review.
Yeah.
We'll read it. But we're always looking for new themes. So let's just dive right in. I personally put mine in order.
I didn't.
My last one is going to be my top.
Okay.
So I kind of ranked mine. So that'll be interesting.
I don't think I could.
You like I know it was really hard. I have a tie actually. Would you like to start us off though, since you have some more than me?
Yeah, that's fine. So we will notice a quick trend. I noticed a very quick trend after writing 5 of mine. So a lot of my movies are spooky movies, which I don't think is a surprise. I was literally sitting down and I was writing the list this morning before we started recording the first episode that we did today. And I was like, I can do this really quick. Like, it's not going to be that big of a deal. Like, let me just do this last minute. And I was writing them down and I was like, wow, do I have any comedies or any movies that aren't spooky that I like? And I do. Like, I enjoy movies that aren't spooky movies, but the majority of them are. So my first one is a movie trilogy, and it's on Netflix. Okay. It's called the Fear Street movies.
Okay. Is this something popular? I've never heard of that.
They were really popular when they came out, I think, but it's a movie series based off of the R.L. Stine book series that's like 20 books long. And it's called, like, the Fear Street books. It's R.L. Stine's books. It's like the adult version of the Goosebumps books that we all knew of as kids. And he wrote a bunch of these books. I think they were like in the 80s and 90s. And then it was probably, I think it was in 2020 or 2021 over the summer, they put out a movie a week, and it was a 3-movie series, and they were called the Fear Street movies. And they don't necessarily go off of his books per se, but it's kind of along the same lines as his books were. And they came out in the order of, they're based off of years. So the first movie is Fear Street 1994, and that takes place like in a movie theater, well, not a movie theater, a mall. And the whole premise of this is that there's like this lineage of killers, I guess, in the town that they kind of like go crazy per se, like in air quotes, and they just like go around and they go on like a mass murder spree, and like this group of friends throughout the whole movie is trying to run away from these. And there's this character called Sarah Fier, and throughout the whole movie they think that she's the one like cursing these people to become crazy and kill everybody in the movies. And the plot twist at the end, it's not Sarah Fier, but I'm not going to go too far into that because I don't want to spoil anything. But like I said, the first one is 1994, and then it goes backwards in chronological order. So the next one is 1978. And so that one's set around like a camp atmosphere, which that is like my favorite kind of horror movie, is like a campy horror movie.
Interesting.
And then the last one is 1666, and that is the backstory of Sarah Fier. And it, like, half the movie is the backstory of Sarah Fier, and I wish that they would have made it a 4-part series because I loved the way that they did like the old-timey Salem witch trials kind of thing, but then they cut it off halfway through once her backstory was done, and they switched to, in the middle of the movie, it's not a new movie, they switched to 1994 part 2, where the main characters from 1994 are going back through, and they like try and like finish the solving of the story, because at the end of 1978 they meet this woman that was involved in the killings of 1978, and she survived, and then she tells the backstory, and there's like this whole thing, and then after they do the backstory of Sarah Fier at the beginning of 1666, then they flash forward to like her ending the story of what happened in 1978 and then continuing to like solve the mystery.
Okay.
It's really cool. It's like adult Nancy Drew meets adult Goosebumps. It's really cool. I like them. They're not too scary. Some of the parts are gory, but
more
it's
mystery vibes.
Yeah, it's like mysterious kind of like solving kind of crime, but with like an air of mystery in it.
I like that. I thought of another one also. So I actually do have 10 now, which
Yay.
is very exciting. But I was thinking while you were saying that, you were going to be living when we make it to Salem next year.
I am so excited.
I know. It's so you. I'm like, I could live my whole life without going there, but I'll do it for you.
Yeah, we were talking, and I know that we've hinted at it a little bit, but me, Arika, Angelo, Kyle, and then like a couple other people maybe, depending on their availability, we really want to do an East Coast road trip. And we have to. Me and Arika are the planners of the group, so we're obviously going to plan like the cities, the amount of days that we need, the like places to stay and everything. And I was like, well, maybe we just go through everybody, because if it's like 6 to 8 of us on this trip, we can pick a city per person, and then like,
yeah, that's a good idea.
And then like 2 or 3 cities that everybody wants to go to, so everybody gets their cities. And I was like, Salem's mine. I'm picking it. I have to.
Yeah, one that's up there for me is Boston, just because I've never been there, and I know you want to see it too.
I would love to see Boston.
That'd be a good one.
I think that's going to be one that everybody's collectively like, yeah, we got to see Boston.
You have to.
Yeah.
It's so good. Okay, well, I love that for you. I have a very opposite approach here.
Yeah.
I have not a single scary movie or thing on my list.
Oopsies.
I'm not one of those people that's like anti-scary. It's fine. But Angelo does not like scary movies, so we don't watch them.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't like them.
I
don't mind.
I think that he could handle the Fear Street movies, and that
it sounds like it.
That might honestly be my top top 3 movies of all time.
Wow.
And I didn't say which one of the series was my favorite. 1978 is definitely my favorite because I love
that the second one?
Yeah, I love the campy horror movie.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's cool. Okay, I'm like I said, ranked mine. But I do have a tie for one of the places, so I'm starting at number 9.
Okay.
My number 9 TV show is something that I haven't watched in years, and that might be why it got number 9.
Yes.
But it is Jane the Virgin,
Ooh,
the TV series.
I thought about putting that on mine, yeah.
It's really good. So I'm a really horrible, y'all, at explaining things. So I decided to just pull up the Wikipedia, and I'm just going to read like a little sample for you all if you've never heard of it or never watched it. But
that's really smart. I should have done that.
Yes. No, I know I'm bad at explaining, and then I'll go on a tangent. That makes no sense. But Jane the Virgin, it says it's 5 seasons long, and it came out in 2014. I definitely watched this at the beginning of college in 2017. So I was definitely behind.
I think I started mine maybe like 2016 when I was binging it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's like a binging show because it's honestly really good.
It is so good.
But yeah, it says and first of all, the main character is Gina Rodriguez, and I just love her. She's so cute. The daughter of a teen mother, Jane Villanueva, grew up determined to not repeat her mom's mistakes. At 23, her life is on track. She's studying to be a teacher and engaged to a handsome detective who supports her decision to remain a virgin until marriage. Then a routine clinic visit flips her life upside down. Inseminated by a specimen meant for a patient in the next room, now pregnant Jane is in a situation made only more insane when she learns that the sperm donor is her boss, Raphael. I'm going to stop there because that's so good. I feel like that's a great 2-liner. I would have never been able to do that myself. So
and Raphael is, what's his name? Justin Baldoni.
Justin Baldoni. Yeah. Oh my God, he's so hot.
And he is also a great director. And he didn't direct any of Jane the Virgin because that was pretty early in his career. But now, if anybody's on track with the whole Colleen Hoover train, he is directing the It Ends With Us movie.
Yes.
But he is also going to play one of the main characters. Yeah.
Yes. So this show, I will say, was my first introduction to Justin Baldoni. I didn't really know him before Jane the Virgin.
Didn't he?
And that's like what I know him from.
Didn't he direct all of the like To All the Boys I've Ever Loved Before movies? Like he's
really?
I think so.
I don't know.
And maybe that's not completely true, but I know that he does a bunch of like rom-com movies and like coming of age movies.
Yeah, I don't know if he did that, but I really, really did like that. Movie. That was cute.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my number 9. So I put it as my least favorite. I mean, I have less favorite shows for sure. It's still up there. But I haven't watched it since 2017. So that's where it landed.
Yeah. It's really good. I do like that show a lot. And I was looking through like TV shows and stuff. And I was like, maybe I'll put it on there because it is really good. Funny.
I wonder if we'll have any of the same.
Maybe. Well, moving on to my next one. I tried to go like movie, TV show.
Okay, cool.
And so my next one, this is probably one of my favorite TV shows of all time. And everybody's like, please hop off this train. I'm a Grey's Anatomy girl.
Classic.
I love Grey's Anatomy. And you guys are going to notice as I go through my TV shows, I'm a big medical drama girl. And I'm a big scary movie girl.
Oh my God, we couldn't be more opposite.
I know.
The only thing I won't watch is like a medical drama. I freaking hate those shows. Mostly because I am queasy. So it's not even like I don't know. Grey's Anatomy shows a good amount of stuff.
Yeah.
I know my mom used to watch it and I was like, oh wow, they show like a lot. And I don't know, I don't get into it. But fair enough. Grey's Anatomy is a fan favorite.
Yeah, I love that show. I really like it. And yes, it's been on it's on its 19th season now. Jeez. But it's
so good.
I really like it. I like how the story evolves. It's definitely becoming less and less of like a go-to show for me just because I think they are dragging it out. But
fair enough. Like
primetime seasons were like probably like 5 through 12, like those were really great seasons. And I know that sounds like so much, but
that does. I'm like, wow.
They were really great seasons. And I loved how like they used to every single time it was a season finale, they would like open up a new tragedy, which was really interesting to me because I'd be like, oh, I need to see the next season because I need to see how the tragedy ends up. But they really kind of stopped doing that, especially with like after I think it was season 16 or 17, there was really great like dialogue and really great storylines and stuff. And then COVID happened during season 18. And I liked the storyline and how they incorporated it because, of course, it's a medical drama. They need to bring in the COVID. They need to bring in the real-time things. But I think it definitely could have been handled a little bit differently. And I think with all of that, and now Meredith, if you're keeping up with everything, Meredith, the main character, she just had her farewell episode. So she's not going to be even in it anymore. And
how did they approach that in the story?
She left to go to a different hospital.
Oh, cool. Simple.
Yeah, and they kind of open up the storyline because her daughter is like a child genius, and they brought that in because she was
cool.
she was like a super like anxious person, and they were like, what's causing all of this anxiety? What's causing her to be so kind of like torn up inside and like having this mental turmoil? And they found out like based off of like a bunch of different like tests and stuff, and just like a different like cognitive activities that she was just way above in the terms of learning as everybody else. So they started off like the transition of her out of the season by her daughter Zola going to visit different different schools for the gifted student. And the one that they found ended up being in like Boston. So she's moving from Seattle to Boston, and that's how they're like having her exit the show.
Wow. Are people happy? Like the fans? Are the fans happy? Are they mad? What's the vibe?
I think that they understand because she's
a staple.
Yeah, she's been a long time running character. She's been in like every single episode. I remember looking up a statistic, and there's like obviously way more episodes that she's in than she isn't. I think that like because she is the main character and the namesake of the show, that she had to have so much airtime in each episode, and because of that, like she was getting burnt out, and they understand like
that's a lot of working.
Yeah, and they understand that her character like needs to like move on as like a human in the show, as well as her as a human. Like she really hasn't had any other acting opportunities in her career because of how involved in this she was. And she has a whole family outside of like the acting world as well that she kind of just wants to spend time with, because she is older, she is a mother, she has her family she needs to take care of.
Wow. That is insane.
Yes.
Yeah, I know just a little bit. My mom likes that show, but in general, people love that show.
Yeah.
And I respect it.
I like it. I like a good drama.
Yeah. Oh, obviously, same.
Yes.
My whole list is just dramas. Okay, my next one is giving a little bit more of your vibe.
Okay.
Have you ever watched Blacklist?
No, but
heard of it?
I have heard of it. My mom used to watch it a lot, but I've never really watched it.
This is my number 8 show.
Okay.
I love Blacklist. Angela and I got really into it. They also just came out with a new season, and we're just like not caught up enough to like watch it yet. But Wikipedia says, I'm going to give you guys a rundown. For decades, ex-government agent Raymond Reddington, also known as Red, has been one of the globe's most wanted fugitives. But then he agreed to work with the FBI to catch his blacklist of mobsters, spies, and international terrorists on the condition that he must work with profiler Elizabeth Keene. Red's true intentions, choosing Liz, a woman whom he has seemingly no connections with, are unclear. Does Liz have secrets of her own? Red promises to teach Liz to think like a criminal, to see the bigger picture, whether she wants to or not. And there are just so many good storylines aside from the crime and action of it all. Like the crime and the action is fun to watch, but then they also do so well with integrating the storylines. Like for instance, the main character Liz and Red have some sort of relationship, but they build it up this whole show and you like don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But it's something there. So not to spoil, but definitely check that out. It's a great crime TV show. It's 10 seasons, so like it's really long. And I mean, I feel like when a show has that many seasons, you can assume it's good because they wouldn't have been allowed to make that
they
many
wouldn't
seasons.
keep re-signing them.
Exactly. So yeah, I definitely recommend that, and that is like the only crime show on my list. So I feel like from now on, I'm going to be very far away from yours.
That's
but
okay.
It's really good. I like it.
Yeah, it sounds good. I know my mom used to like it a lot, so I should check out a couple episodes.
It's a great vibe. Yeah. The first episode was hard for me because it just like involves a kid in a crime. And so that one, when we first started watching, I was like, babe, I don't like this show. Like I just did not like it. And then we kept watching and I was like, babe, I'm addicted to this show. It's really, really good.
You're like, we got to sit down. We got to watch it.
It's one of those ones where there are continuing storylines, but each episode is a new story. Like there's a new character.
It's kind of like Criminal Minds.
Okay. I don't know.
Criminal Minds.
Like, sure.
They have like a new like killer
like
every
crime. Okay.
Yeah, a new killer, a new
like
crime every episode.
But they keep the same people and their storylines continue. Yes, it is like that.
That's really cool. I do like Criminal Minds. It didn't make the list. It's an honorable mention.
Yeah. Honorable mention. I love it.
Okay.
Alrighty, what do you got?
My next one is the Scream movie franchise. And
of course,
I think that it's by far my favorite horror movie franchise.
Yeah.
It is so good. I think I just went and watched the 6th one that just came out this past weekend. It came out on the 10th.
That's the 6th one?
Yes.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I know. A long time. But I really like it. I think that they do so well. I know that they they were kind of falling off a little bit, or like not falling off, but people were like, why do you keep doing this? But the movie in itself is a movie about a movie. So it has to like break the fourth wall, and it kind of has to be like meta, because they're talking about how this character, Gail Weathers, she writes books based off of the killings that happen in Woodsboro, and then those books get turned into movies called the Stab movies, and then every single movie somebody is trying to impersonate the Stab killer from the last movie.
So many elements.
I know. And it's kind of hard to follow,
complex.
But I think they're also really funny movies, because like they do break the fourth wall, and it's not like, it's not a horror movie that you go to watch because you want to be scared. It's a horror movie you go and watch because you want to like see how funny it is.
Like fun.
Yeah. But I really like them. I would have to say that the first one is still by far my favorite, because that's usually how it goes, especially with horror movies.
I was surprised the other one, your favorite, was the second movie. I was going to say that.
Yeah, I really, really like the Saw movies, and not Saw movies, the Scream movies. And I really like the one that came out on Friday. I don't want to give any spoilers or like anything too in depth, because it just came out.
No.
But the movie is set in New York City, and all of the other ones are set in California. So it was really cool to see like the new element of like being able to travel in the subway and stuff, and like seeing how the killers utilized that.
Oh yeah. I love a New York City movie.
Yes, they're all really so good.
Wow. Okay, nice. That's a good one.
Yes.
I kind of lied about my last one. Not really. But this one is also still a little bit in that crime element. I feel like I like the crime stuff, but not the gory stuff. Yeah. That's where I'm at with that kind of thing. But my next one, number 7, is Big Sky. Have you heard of that?
I don't know.
It came out in 2020. It's newer.
Okay.
And it's a TV show. Mine are pretty much all shows. Crime TV show. It's 3 seasons long. We're hoping for a new season. I think there will be. I should have said this earlier with other ones, but this is on Hulu.
Okay.
/ABC. So I'll read you the Wikipedia as I do, and then I'll talk about it. So this series is about a private... This series presents... What does this say? Storyteller. Okay, it's the guy who wrote Big Little Lies is what it's trying to tell me, which I've never watched. But the guy who wrote Big Little Lies presents a series about private detectives Cassie Duell and Cody Hoyt, who join forces with Cody's estranged wife and ex-police officer, Jenny Hoyt, to search for 2 sisters who have been kidnapped by a truck driver on a remote highway in the middle of Montana. When they discover that these are not the only girls who have disappeared in the area, they must race against the clock to stop the killer before another woman is taken. Ooh. Based on the series of books by C.J. Box, which I did not know that this was about books, but it is a phenomenal show. Angelo and I all the time out of nowhere will be like, you know, it'd be nice, a new season of Big Sky. It's awesome. It's giving a little bit of a Western because they live in Montana. It's very country. Like the police officers are very... like country police officers, hats, whatever. But I actually think you would really like this. It's very interesting because it shows the difference, or like the play between a private detective and the police officers, and how they overlap, work together, work apart, get mad at each other. Like the dynamics are really cool. And it's another one that just has a couple different stories that are all seemingly disconnected until they're not. Yeah. Like, it is just phenomenal. So I 10 out of 10 recommend Big Sky. It's a great show. Yeah, it makes you want to go to Montana too, because it's beautiful.
Listening to that like description, I'm like, ooh, maybe I need to start that show.
I do think that's one that you might like.
Yeah.
It has a really, really good element of crime in the way that it's like little details matter. Like it's very intricate.
Yeah.
I like it.
I think that sounds so cool. Okay, so my next one is another TV show. And
cool.
I think we're going to notice a theme to who produces the TV shows that I have a really, really...
interesting.
I really like. So the next one is Station 19, and it is a spin-off of Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, really?
And they're both produced by Shonda Rhimes.
Okay.
And I love Station 19. So it follows the story of when... her name is like Miranda Bailey in Grey's Anatomy, and her husband, Ben Warren, leaves the hospital because he is an anesthesiologist that turns surgical intern that leaves the hospital to pursue a career in firefighting. And this show starts at his new fire station where he is starting his life as a firefighter. And this one, it only has like 6 seasons. So it's still building up, and it started just a couple of years ago. And I really like it because it still has like the drama aspect, but it's still like it overlaps. And I really like watching it. Like I'll watch Station 19 first because that's the one that comes out first, like on TV. And then I'll watch the episode of Grey's Anatomy for the week because sometimes they play off of each other.
That's so cool.
That's what made me want to watch Station 19 because they did a crossover event. And it was like the thing that happened, like the firefighters responded to in the like season premiere of Station 19, they were taking care of that patient at the hospital in Grey's Anatomy. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. And I feel like that's going to happen more and more. So I just watch both.
It's really a genius concept that they even did that. And like, it's so interesting to think about the people who only watch one and would never know.
Yeah.
That is so cool. I Googled it while you were saying that. I think my mom watches this. I recognize the cover photo.
Yeah. I really like Station 19. It's so good.
That's so like, I'm honestly just, I'm shocked.
Yeah.
Like, that's a genius idea to make them intertwine.
Yeah, and they also
mind blown.
They also bring up like real life event things too. So like when the whole like Black Lives Matter thing was happening, a lot of the firefighters are Black in the show, so they kind of show the interaction between the police and the firefighters and how they have to respond to scenes differently as first responders, and how if the firefighters are called to a like scene where the police are active at, like the dynamics and like the power dynamics between the two. And these are both set like in Seattle still, so it's kind of helpful to like see what it's like in a big city and like kind of see how those dynamics work. And they do a lot of research for these shows. I know that I've heard people even from Grey's Anatomy, some of the actors in that will talk about how like, yes, we do our full research. We have like anatomy professors on scene to like teach us all of these things. Really nice. And I really like how real it is, even though it is dramatized. Like they do bring in real life aspects to it.
I love when a show or movie like actually cares to collaborate with actual professionals and like get it right, because that's huge. And I feel like there's so many shows that people watch that they get real confused about what it's like in real life because it's not at all close. Wow, okay, that's so interesting. And I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but my list has grown to 11 because I thought of another one when you mentioned a fact during that, so I'm not gonna spoil it, but it's on the list now. Okay. There's a show that I like that I forgot about.
Are you putting them in order still when you come up with the new ones? Okay.
Yes, so she's not coming up yet, but I'll let you guys know. But my number 6 is a classic. Well, not really, but it's funny. I think everyone will relate. It's Outer Banks.
Oh, I love Outer Banks. I really thought about putting that on my list. I haven't finished the new season yet. I think I have like 4 episodes left. But
we might be around the same spot.
It is so good. I love Outer Banks. And I love
Outer Banks.
There is like a crime element to that one too. I mean,
a little bit.
It's not like super like involved
maybe
crime.
I don't have a theme.
But it's like it's treasure hunty. Yeah.
It's so weird, honestly, because it's not a show I ever would have gotten into. But obviously, when the first season came out, it kind of went viral. Like, everyone was watching it. Yeah. It's like, I have to check it out. And then I just got sucked in. I love the characters. I don't even care about the storyline as much as I just like the characters. Yeah. Yeah, so it came out in 2020 and it has 3 seasons if y'all listening have not heard of it yet. But basically, there's one sentence on Wikipedia, which is so funny. It's so short. A teenager enlists his 3 best friends to hunt for a legendary treasure linked to his father's disappearance. And that's great. A nice one-liner. But personally, I love the characters. I forget her name in the show, but her name in real life is Carlacia Grant, I think.
Is it Kiara?
Nope.
Cleo?
What's her name? Cleo. Okay. She's my favorite character. I think she's so funny. I think she's so dynamic. Her accent is not real. I don't know if you know that, but in real life. Yeah,
I watched an interview with her and I was like, you're not Jamaican or you're not like from the Caribbean?
Yes, I know. She really honestly nailed the Caribbean accent. And she was talking about, I watched an interview too on like TikTok or something. And she was saying that her favorite part of the show was learning the accent. Yeah. I'm like, girl, you're good at it.
She's so good at it.
Just in general, she's awesome.
That show didn't make my list, but it really could have. I think that this new season, it's a little bit slower than the rest, even though like they're still doing like all the crazy treasure hunting things, but I think that it's a lot slower. I really liked season 2, and I didn't start watching it when it became like all the craze when it came out in 2020. Oh, really? Yeah. I think I started it last June when I moved here, when I had all the extra time before I started work, and I watched the first 2 seasons. And my friend Courtney, she watched it and she was like, Marissa, you have to watch it. I know you're going to love it. And I was like, Courtney, I don't want to watch it yet. Like, it's still really hyped up. And she was like, no, you should watch it. And so I watched it when I moved here and I was like, Courtney, you're right. I'm hooked.
It's kind of addicting. Yeah. Yes. Who's your favorite character if you had to pick?
I really like John B.
It's hard.
Of
course. John B's hot.
Yeah. I really like him.
No, he's good. I think my favorite is definitely Cleo, but of the OG cast, it's Pope.
I love Pope
He's
too.
just like the very reasonable, like head on his shoulders guy, and I just think it's so cute. And I just love him.
My friend Courtney has a crush. So my friend Courtney has a crush on JJ.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I know. People are very much romanticizing JJ right now. I feel like that's the hype. I think my Outer Banks crush is Pope. I just like him the best.
Yeah,
he's so cute.
He is so cute.
But yeah, that's my number 6, and it was painful to put it at number 6 because I really like it a lot. It's up there, but I just had other things that outweighed it. But definitely watch Outer Banks if you haven't.
You should. I definitely agree. Okay, so my next one is I had to pick a movie from this movie franchise just because I do love it so much. In 2018, Kyle made me start watching all the Marvel movies, and I was like, I'm not going to like them. I don't want to watch any of them. Like,
this is me. Angela did the same thing to me.
This seems so silly. I don't want to watch them. And then he made me watch all of them, and he got me hooked, and now we go and see all the new Marvel movies as they come out. But I had to pick my favorite from all of the movies because I was like, I can't just say Marvel as a whole. There's way too many. I need to pick one. Yeah. And so Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, is my favorite.
Okay. I've never seen that, but a lot of people say that.
It is
like Marvel. I feel like a lot of people like that one.
Yeah, I just like it because I think that the soundtrack is so good because it's like really catchy music. And I love Groot. Like, okay. I know that you guys can't see this, but I'm just going to show Arika all of the little Groot things that I have. So I have this little guy. Yes. He's like a pencil holder, but I put like essential oils in him.
That's funny.
And his like head is open and it's just him like sitting with his hand on his cheek. And then I have this little bobblehead right here.
Oh my gosh.
It's supposed to go on your car dash, but I just keep him on my desk. And then for my birthday, Kyle's mom got me a Groot Lego. So me and Kyle were actually, just in our little break in between the episodes, we were building Groot a little bit.
That is hilarious. I can't believe how many Groot things you have on your desk.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
That's my 2 Groot things on the desk. And then I think that I used to have a keychain, but he broke. And then I have the Lego. But I think that's all that I have.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that. I've heard that's a really, really good Marvel movie, and Angelo tried to make me watch them all too, and I said the same thing, that I wouldn't like them, and we got through the first Batman, and we never continued. I did not like it. But I'm sure there's ones I would like.
Yeah.
I like Iron Man. Is he Marvel?
Yes. Batman's not, but I was going to let it slide.
Oh, Batman. Oh, okay. Yeah, you know what, guys? I'm so sorry. I don't know the difference between Marvel and DC. I'm a fake fan. I know.
It's okay.
But yeah, no, he tried to get me to watch them. Maybe he tried to get me just to watch all superhero movies.
Maybe.
That's the goal. But I hated the first Batman, and then I also tried to watch all the Star Wars with him, and that did not go over well either.
Yeah, I had to watch all the Star Wars, and those aren't my favorite, but I do like the Marvel movies for sure.
I do have to formally apologize to everyone because I added another thing to my list. We're at like 12 now.
That's okay. It's okay.
There are some that are just so good, but I'm going to go to my next one, which is my first movie. Surprise.
Yay.
Not a big movie girly, but my number 5 on my list is Blended. Have you ever seen that?
No.
I'm such a big fan. Okay.
I've never heard of it either.
So really, okay,
No.
Blended is basically a sequel to 50 First Dates.
Oh.
That came out so many years later. So I'm going to give you all the dates for both. It's not super popular, which is so depressing because I think it's a great movie. 50 First Dates came out in 2004. If y'all never heard of it, it's a romance comedy with Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore, which is a classic duo. I love them together, which is why I checked out Blended. So that's 2004, and then Blended is 2014. So it was their 10-year anniversary, and it's basically a continuation-ish. It's not exactly, but it's the same 2 people, you know, and it's kind of a little bit of a love story of Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore, and it's called Blended because they are bringing together a blended family. They each have kids.
So cool.
They have different storylines, and then it all kind of comes together.
Maybe I'll make Kyle watch that with me today because we also love 50 First Dates. So
I do too, and I felt bad not putting it on my list, but I like Blended even a little bit more. I know that's so horrible.
A
and
sequel
people are like, no
better
way.
Than the original?
I know, and I think it's just because it is more modern, and it's also not like directly a sequel. It's a little bit different of a story, but it's so good. It says recently divorced mom Lauren, Drew Barrymore, and widowed dad Jim, Adam Sandler, let their friends push them into a blind date, which goes disastrously wrong. Unsurprisingly, neither of them wants to see the other ever again. However, fate intervenes when both Jim and Lauren, unbeknown to each other, purchase one half of the same vacation package at a South African resort. They and their children are forced to share the same suite and participate in a slew of family activities together. It is so funny. You know Adam Sandler is.
Yes.
It is a great comedy rom-com, and it's perfection. Like, I can't recommend it enough. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, and that's saying something for me.
Yes.
I love it. So you guys should definitely watch Blended. It makes me want to watch it again.
Yeah, I definitely want to check it out.
I love it. Yeah.
Okay, so my next one, I think the rest of mine are going to be TV shows, which is crazy.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
But the next one it's a new show, and it's all the hype, and it is Wednesday.
Oh, yeah, I haven't watched that, and I probably won't, to be honest with you. But I've heard it's very good.
I just love Jenna Ortega. She is such a good actress. She's cute. She's in the new Scream movies as well.
Oh, really?
So, I don't know.
She's becoming a horror girly, I guess.
I know.
I only know her of Disney. I think she was on something.
Yeah, I don't even know what she was on in Disney, but I know that she's really prevalent in like horror movies and stuff, and I think she plays the perfect Wednesday Addams. She
looks the part. She looks really cool.
Yeah, I love the Addams family, and I love everything like that. And
that's what you were for Halloween, right?
Yeah, I've been Wednesday the last 2 years for Halloween.
I love that for you.
But I think she does such a good job. And she's also, like I said, she's in the Scream movie franchise in the 2 most recent movies. And then she also plays a role in the first movie of a series called X. And they have like 3 movies, I think, or they're coming out with a 3rd movie. And I think she's so good.
I have to tie this back around because it's crazy. I was just looking to see what she's been on in the past. She's from Jane the Virgin.
Yeah, she is.
I had no idea. So that's a full circle here from our 2 shows. She was young Jane in Jane the Virgin, so she played like the younger scenes. That's so cute.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I recognized her.
Maybe. She's also in You, if you watch that show.
Oh, yes. No, you're right. I liked her character in that show.
Yeah, I did too.
She was really cool. Yeah, I really liked her. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I've heard really great things about Wednesday. Everyone keeps telling me to watch it. They're like, you won't regret it. Like, it's a great show.
Yeah, I think that I think that they needed to give like Wednesday her own little storyline because she's like the sassy girl, and like I just thought it was so good.
Yeah, I don't know. This is a shame. I suppose, but I don't know anything about the Addams Family. Don't know the original story. I've never seen anything.
I've only seen the first movie, but I liked it enough. So
that's cool. Cool. My next one is 4th place, and I have a 3-way tie.
Okay.
So I'm going to say them all right now. My 3-way tie for 4th place, 2 movies, 1 show. Wedding Crashers.
Okay.
Classic movie. If you all know, it has, Owen Wilson and that big guy. Oh, what is his name? I should Google it. But anyways, it's just a movie about crashing weddings. Comedy. Yes. Real good. Ready Player One. This is one I added while you were talking. Have you ever seen it?
No.
Or heard of it? So good. Oh my God, you have to see it. The reason I thought of this is because you said you liked Guardians of the Galaxy and that the music was really good. Ready Player One soundtrack is like me and Angelo's thing. We just put it on all the time. This is like our movie. Like, we love it. Came out in 2018. It's based off of a book. I'll give you guys the rundown. In 2045, the planet is on the brink of chaos and collapse, but people find salvation in the Oasis, an expansive virtual reality universe created by eccentric James Halliday. When Halliday dies, he promises his immense fortune to the person who discovers a digital Easter egg that's hidden somewhere in the Oasis game. When young Wade Watts joins the contest, he finds himself becoming an unlikely hero in a reality-bending treasure hunt through a fantastical world of mystery, discovery, and danger. It sounds like a very out there, like sci-fi kind of thing, but it's really not. It's called, it says a sci-fi action movie, but it also just it's not that weird sci-fi that is like so far out of reach that sometimes it's hard to picture in your mind.
Yeah.
It's so good. So like the whole world is a video game. It's very cool. I highly recommend it. Ready Player One. Angelo introduced me to it because he liked the book or something like that.
Yeah.
And also part of it is set like in Ohio.
Ooh.
Which is kind of weird. Columbus. There's like a real life building that it references, I'm pretty sure, that's in Columbus, but it's a great movie.
That's so cool.
It is a Steven Spielberg directed movie.
Ooh.
So 10 out of 10. And then finally, my 4th place tie is How I Met Your Mother.
Okay.
Absolutely iconic.
That is
this
so
on your
good.
list?
Yeah, it's so good. I love
had a
it.
feeling that we would have crossover there. Putting it fourth, like I said, this hurts, but this is where the cookie crumbles, you know? But it's a great show. Also, mine and Angelo's like show. We like watched that together when we first met, and that was our thing. And then we watched it, and then we dated, and it was history. But it's a great show.
Yeah, I love How I Met Your Mother. So I think that me and Kyle's story, I'll just say that this is my next one, and then I'll actually do my next one because it's on my list anyways.
Yeah.
So How I Met Your Mother, I watched it for the first time probably in like 2014. Like I had watched the whole thing all the way through right after the series had ended. Yeah. And I loved it so much. I watched it all the way through. I watched it again, and then I told Kyle that I was like watching it again, and he was like, "Oh, I really like that show too." And he was like, "Do you want to watch it together?" And I was like, "Yeah." So we watched it together. That was like the first TV show we ever watched together as a couple.
Ours too. So cute. That's what we did too. We had both seen part of it previously. I don't know if I ever watched it all the way through, and then we decided to watch it all the way through together. That's so adorable. I had no idea we had this in common.
Yeah, and I know that we're both watching How I Met Your Father because we share a Google Calendar now for work purposes. So
it's always on the calendar every Tuesday. I don't keep caught up very well.
No, we don't either, but me and Kyle watch it together, so we can't really keep up well, but we just like we'll binge the episodes whenever we do get together. So I don't think it's as good because it doesn't have the same nostalgic value of like early 2000s of like the original gang.
They're still good, but they're not as dynamic as the original, in my opinion.
But I think that they casted it very well. I think that the characters do well, and they're not trying to like do exactly as the first like show. They're not trying to be exactly, so like they do have all their new dynamics and everything, which I like, but I do like that it's still following a friend group in the city. And I mean, I don't know about you, but I like it better than Friends. I've never watched Friends all the way through. I think like I
completely agree.
I think that
my gosh,
they hold like the same value of show like early 2000s like sitcom of like New York City friend groups or whatever, but I definitely think that How I Met Your Mother rises to the top when it comes to that.
I completely agree, and I'm usually in the unpopular opinion group on that.
I know
so many people love Friends, and I just couldn't get into it the same way. Like it's fine if it's on, but I'm like not dying to watch Friends.
I watched like the first 3 episodes of it, I think, or something like that. Not 3 episodes, 3 seasons, and I was like, I can't do this.
I just can't get. I don't care as much. I don't know why. Like I just didn't care as much as.
It's probably because I watched How I Met Your Mother first, and if I would have watched Friends first, I probably would have enjoyed that better than How I Met Your Mother, but still.
Then you have the comparison. Yeah, I love that show. It's a great show. I'm so glad we had a crossover. I had a feeling that it was coming
there. Okay, so since that was kind of like one that I listed with you, I'm going to go to another one. Yeah. So this goes back to the Shonda Rhimes train. I love her other show, How to Get Away with Murder. That one.
Oh, I've heard of that.
It is so good, and I think that you would enjoy it too. So it follows a group of law students that are all working under this woman, and I can't remember the character's name right now, but it's Viola Davis, and I think that she is an incredible actress. She is a powerful woman. She always has these powerful, like, independent woman roles, and I think that works perfect for her. And in this show, it's like 100% because you get to see Viola Davis's sassiness that she has in some other roles, but you also get to see that powerful, independent woman in this show. And I think it encompasses her, like, her character and her persona and even, like, her own personality perfect. And so, like I said, it's a group of law students, and they're all following their teacher, Viola Davis, who is teaching them in a class that she calls How to Get Away with Murder. And she's like a defense attorney that is teaching them, like, how do you have a defense in court against somebody that is probably guilty? And then throughout the show, I think it's also 6 or 7 seasons. And in the show, there's like their own kind of true crime thing that happens, and they use what she teaches them in class to kind of get away with murder. And there's some twists and stuff, and Viola Davis ends up getting kind of wrapped up in their like own little murder thing, true crime thing. And it's just so cool to see how the characters like interact in the show. I've watched it twice. This is another show that I made Kyle watch through with me after I had finished watching it, and I think I'm ready for another rewatch because I haven't seen it in a couple of years, probably since like 2016, 2017, and I think it's time to watch it again.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I do think I would like that. And I'm even considering like maybe I'll try watching that next because I have been told by a couple people like I think you would actually really enjoy this show.
Yeah.
And it looks good and I work in law now.
Yeah.
So it'd probably be helpful.
It would maybe because it does have like real like laws and precedents for like what actually happens.
Yeah, that's a really good one. And I just thought of two more that I'm not going to put on my list because I'm being nuts. But I'm going to give honorable mentions really fast before I forget. Perks of Being a Wallflower.
That's a great movie.
Love it. Didn't make my top, but I'll put that in. And then also Dash and Lily. It's such a cheesy movie. Have you seen that?
No.
Oh my God. Okay, it's Christmas. So around Christmas time, I'll probably be texting you like, watch this. Don't watch it outside of Christmas time. It ruins the spirit.
Yes.
No, it's fine. But it's called Dash and Lily. And you know what? It's a TV show. That's why I love it. It's not a Christmas movie. I don't like any Christmas movies because I'm anti. I like Elf, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's a Christmas TV show and it's these two kids. It is a little bit cheesy, which you'd like it probably. It's high school, but it's these two kids in high school who live in New York City, and it's kind of a little bit of a story about them. I don't want to spoil it because it's very very cute, but you would like it, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Honorable mentions to those two, but my actual number 3 is one of my, well, it's a tie. It's one of my all-time favorite movies ever. This is the last movie on my list, Bridge to Terabithia.
That's a good one.
I love that movie. There's something about it. Even when I was a little kid watching it, I would cry every time at the end. Like, it's such a good movie. I think everyone did it really well. Young Josh Hutcherson, so cute.
Yes.
But my tie that I added in, this is the one that I said, oh, I just thought of something, is Good Trouble, which is the spinoff of The Fosters.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched it?
I haven't finished watching Good Trouble.
I think good.
I got to like season 3 and then I just like I started watching something else or something and I just fell off. But I also loved The Fosters, and I don't know if that show is on your list, but
it's not.
But I really liked it, and I think that
I do too.
I love spin-offs because I love how they're able to like follow the storyline of just like some certain people.
Yeah.
And I think like Mariana and Callie, like they have like the great.
Mariana's my favorite character.
Yeah, I think that they have like the great like chemistry as sisters to have their own show.
They do.
I think that they should have done one with like Jesus and Brandon too.
I know, right?
But I hated when I was watching The Fosters when they switched from. What was the original?
The different actor.
Yeah, and then they switched to like Noah Centineo.
Yeah.
Which I love Noah Centineo, and that was the first thing that I'd ever seen him in. And I think that was like the start of his acting career, honestly.
That had to be. Or at least for him taking off, because I remember when he was in that show and I was like, I don't know who this guy is.
Yeah, because I was
I was just confused.
I was like, I get that you're supposed to be Jesus, but like you don't really look like the guy that originally played him. And I was like, what is happening? And I haven't really seen much shows recently that they've changed the actor of a lead character. No. And that was like in the 2010s. So I guess it was a little bit more common then, but I was like,
so weird.
What the heck? And they didn't even like announce it. I swear. It was just like Noah Centineo is Jesus now. And I was like, oh, weird.
Didn't they say like he was on steroids or something in the show and that's why he looked different? They made some kind of weird line.
I don't know.
But I will say I'm actually glad that they didn't just make him die.
Yes.
Like, I was glad to have him keep going because I liked the character.
They could have had him die, like, because, I mean, this is kind of a spoiler, but, like, he had, like, the brain injury and stuff in The Fosters. And, I mean, I think it was a good time for them to switch actors because of, like, that storyline and him, like, going through all of that. But at the same time, I was like, he could have just kept the same. I mean, he probably wanted to leave the show, and that's why, but it was just so weird.
Yeah, Good Trouble is definitely my number 3 show. I think it's a great show. I want to say I like it a little more than The Fosters. It's hard to say, but I just like all the new characters they brought in that show. And it's no longer like a family thing. It's more like they're friends and their family shows up a little bit. And actually the storyline with the moms in Good Trouble, the show, is really interesting.
Yeah.
But I like it a lot. And the reason I didn't have it on my list and I had to add it is because they haven't had a new season in forever.
I know.
So I kind of forgot about it, to be honest. But I watched that on Hulu and I really liked that one.
Yeah, that one is really good.
Yeah.
I have so many honorable mentions now that we're like talking about these things.
I didn't realize how many things would pop into my head
like
while we're recording.
Here are my honorable mentions now that we're talking about them. Law and Order SVU. Love that show. And if you don't know what it is, I'm sorry. There's like 27 seasons. You can figure it out.
There's a bajillion, yes. I've definitely seen that.
And then, I was just going to say something based off of The Fosters. I don't remember what it was now. I don't know. We'll come back to it. I'll remember it eventually. For sure. But my next one on my list is Survivor, which if you've listened to us, of course. It's something that I used to watch with my mom a lot when I was growing up. It came out in the year 2000, which is the year that I was born. So that's so interesting. It's kind of followed me throughout my life. And I started watching it, like binge watching it recently, just because I was like, this is so good. Like I enjoy watching it. Like why don't I just like binge watch a couple of seasons? And I started with the newer seasons because I knew that they had like entered this new era of Survivor. Like the gameplay is different, and I was like, this is so cool. But the new season just started March 1st. There's a guy from Columbus in this season, and I think that he could win it.
My mom told me that.
I've only watched the first episode because, I mean, it's only been out for 2 weeks. I haven't been able to watch the second episode yet, but it's so good. I love it. It's always like ever changing. Like it's always a new dynamic, obviously, every season because they bring in new contestants. And I just think it's so cool. And I love like game shows like that. Like I don't really love reality TV, but all of like the Netflix like dating shows, I love those because they're so fun and they're all so different, but they're all kind of produced by the same people. So I think that's so cool. And then I love Survivor as well. And then I've been trying to watch Are You the One, which is a show on, I don't know, maybe like MTV, I think. And it's like a bunch of people, they come together in a house and they all like kind of, everybody has a quote unquote perfect match based off of like this intense questionnaire background thing that they do. And you have to try and see who your perfect match is in the house.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's so cool. And like
I've heard of that, but I didn't know the concept at all.
Yeah, like I've never really watched like The Bachelor or The Bachelorette. Like I'm not a big one to follow those. And I was like, I don't really like dating shows. But then Netflix came out with all of them. And I was like, I kind of like dating shows.
That is so funny. I feel like I'm actually almost the opposite. I was a hardcore Bachelor girl for like a long time. And I think it honestly might be like my millennial cusp showing because I feel like I'm in one of those years where it's like, are you millennial or are you Gen Z? We don't know. It's like the late 90s. No one knows. But I was a big Bachelor girly and I did Bachelor or Die. Like that's all I watched reality wise. And then I realized how sick it was. I was just like, this is a weird to watch. Like it's just a weird show. Then I did get into Love is Blind, The Circle, which isn't dating, but like those kind of things.
Yeah.
And they were okay, but I never got hooked.
Yeah.
Which I'm honestly glad about because it would probably time suck me. But they're still really good. Like,
they are very good.
I can't believe all the concepts people come up with.
Yeah, and I love that Netflix kind of like has like not like the patent, but kind of the patent on like all of these cool
they have
like
the blueprint.
Yeah, they have like the game shows, the dating shows, and everything like that. And then I just remembered one other honorable mention: Euphoria. I love Euphoria.
Watch it, but I know everyone loved it.
It's so good, and that was like a show that I'd watch with like all of my college roommates. Like it would be Euphoria Sunday. We would get a bottle of wine. Everybody would split it. We'd sit in the living room and all watch it. And it's a really reminiscent show for me because I remember all those times. And they're not coming out with another season until next year. So that sucks. But I do love it still.
Yeah, I don't think I'll watch it. But I've heard it's so good. But I do love Sydney Sweeney.
Yes.
Just in general because she's hot.
Yeah.
I just love her. She's the best.
Yeah.
And she's so cute and I just like her a lot. But I'm down to my top 2.
Yeah.
So
I only have one left. I don't know how this happened.
I added so many.
Yes, so, that's okay.
But my number 2 of all time, and so how I decided my top 2, and these are truly like my favorite shows ever. I could watch them, I could rewatch them, which I can't say much because like I said, I'm not a big watcher. So rewatching something is not likely for me. But these are the only shows I've ever watched fully from the beginning to end and rewatched. I'm going to say them both at once, but my number 2 is The Kardashians.
Oh my goodness.
Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Yeah.
I never got into it. I know they're so controversial. People are either like, I love them, they're such cool business people, or people are like, I hate them, why are they famous? It's stupid.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what to think. So I think it was like a year or 2 years ago. It was middle of COVID when we kind of had nothing to do.
Yeah.
People were just like, buying a Nintendo Switch or whatever, like trying to find stuff to do in your house. At that point in time, I was like, I want to know why the Kardashians are famous. I only know about the sex tape. I don't know their story. I don't know about the other girls. I don't know, like, how are they still famous? It's not just all from the sex tape. There's no way anyone can say that. Like, they've had years and years and years and years of success. Why? Yeah. So I started the show from the beginning, Keeping Up. So long. Actually, I'm going to Google it. I don't know how many seasons there were, but it took me months to watch the whole show. 20 seasons.
Oh my goodness, I didn't even know.
Show. Yes. That doesn't even count the 3 seasons of their new show. Yeah. So they stopped Keeping Up at season 20. That was like their finale. So I watched it from beginning to end and I fell in love with everybody. I want to say the characters, but they're not characters, they're real. I fell in love with the Kardashians. I feel like they're so cool. They're very dynamic. The sex tape is one thing. Sure, that's how they got kind of started. Really, it was their dad that got them started on the fame train, if you will, representing OJ Simpson. But I just loved it, I have to say. Like, before I watched it, I thought they were dumb and I thought they were stupid. And then after I watched it, I was like, they're really cool people. They're just people.
Yeah.
Kind of like everything. It's like you hear all these things. Oh, this person's so bad. Oh, this person's so good. I'm like, we're all just people. We're all just doing our best.
We're all just doing
our
our
best.
best.
So I have to say, number 2 show is the Kardashians. I'm just obsessed with them. I think they're so good, and I love watching their new show. I will say Keeping Up was very reality, and they brought a lot of drama into it. And their new show, The Kardashians, is not. It is just, it's docuseries. I think it's considered a docuseries, so it's way more documentary. Sometimes they vlog, like on their phone, very realistic, so it's cute. So I've told a few people that, like, if you've never watched their shows, but you're a little interested, I wouldn't recommend going back and watching the old one, but I would recommend the Hulu documentary, because I think it's, or Hulu show. I think it's a really good insight into their life. So Kardashians. Yes. And then my number 1 show of all time, my favorite watch ever in life, is Gilmore Girls.
Oh my goodness.
It is like my homey, like happy, cozy show, and I can't get enough of it. And I decided officially that I'm going to watch it every year.
Really?
Yeah. I have never watched it twice. I watched it the first time in college. I loved it. I thought it was so wholesome, so cute. I grew up with a single mom, so I loved the single mom-daughter dynamic. And not only did I have a single mom, I was an only child for 13 years.
Yeah.
Ish. 10, whatever, a lot of years. So it was just me and my mom. I mean, I had my dad, but it was me and my mom living in our own house, doing our own thing for a really long time. So I think the show is very nostalgic to that part of my life. And then also the sense of comedy in the show. Have you watched it?
No.
Okay. The sense of comedy that they have in the show. I mean, I laugh in every episode, and so does Angela, which is not easy to make us laugh, I feel like, but it's just so funny in the best ways. It has really good references. I can't say enough things about Gilmore Girls. It's such a good one. I'm actually going to I'll pull up the Wikipedia for this one.
Yeah, I don't even know what it's about.
My top show. Okay. This will be good then. Set in a storybook Connecticut town populated by an eclectic mix of dreamers, artists, and everyday folk, this multi-generational drama about family and friendship centers around Lorelai Gilmore and her daughter Rory. Also Lorelai Gilmore, but her nickname's Rory. Lorelai owns the town's bed and breakfast, the Dragonfly Inn, with her best friend and chef, Suki, who is played by Melissa McCarthy, actually, and contends with weekly dinners with eccentric, well-off parents Richard and Emily Gilmore, who always have something to say about their daughter's life. After high school, Rory attends... That's a spoiler, college, but frequently returns to Stars Hollow to visit her mom. So basically, it's a small little town called Stars Hollow in Connecticut. It's not real, but it's very, very, very cute. They just make it very wholesome and adorable. And it's about Lorelai Gilmore, who is played by Lauren Graham. She has a daughter when she's 16, I think, teenage daughter, and her parents are not approving, so she runs away from her life. Ooh. She started off as really well off, really privileged. Her parents are super, super, like the richest of the rich, and so they were not approving, so she ran away. And she raised her daughter as a 16-year-old alone, and got a house in this little tiny town, Stars Hollow, and just pushed through. She just did her best. And then she had a very, very, very estranged relationship with her parents after that point. And so the story kind of, like, when you first start watching this show, the story picks up when Rory is like a bit of a teenager. And you get a lot of that backstory, but it's about how they navigate the relationship with the parents from that point on, because they do develop one in the show. But it's 7 seasons. It came out in 2000, so I guess when you were born. And it is a really, really good classic show. I decided I'm going to watch it every year in the fall, because it's in Connecticut. It's very fall vibes. It's very New England. I actually think you'd like it a lot, but it's just like a comfort show.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my favorite show of all time, and I literally can't say enough good things. I want everyone to watch it. I think it's awesome. And Angela, one time, he told me, he's like, you know what, babe, like, I see why you like Gilmore Girls, because you have the same sense of humor as them. And I was like, I'm honored. It's the nicest thing anyone could have ever said. So yeah, highly recommend. It is a great, 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 great show.
Yeah, now that you
did
your top 10 in like your order, I feel like mine is so weird because mine is not in an order, and I feel like I can't even follow that up because you were like hyping up the show so much. But my last one on my list is The Resident, another medical drama. Okay. Yeah. And this one's newer. I think it's only 6 seasons. And my mom has actually been watching this one too. And
that's fun.
It just, again, follows a storyline of a couple people in the hospital and how their relationships grow. Also, the cases that they have. And the main character is a diagnostician. So he is the doctor that goes and says, like, we're going to run all the tests. Then he looks at the test and figures out what's wrong. So it kind of has the dynamic of like House and how he's trying to figure out these rare diseases. Like this is what this guy's doing.
Okay.
And then it like follows his life of like how he's kind of like a hard guy in the beginning, and he like doesn't want to accept any relationships. Of course. But then he like falls in love with this woman, and like they start like
classic
a relationship, and then I don't want to give too many spoilers, but they have a baby, something happens, blah 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 blah. And now we're kind of in like the era of like it's a public hospital, so they usually take anybody and they don't have to like worry about insurance. But they're kind of following the storyline of like the governor, and it's set in Georgia, so like the Georgia governor is like trying to be like, no, we can't do this. Like, we're gonna close down your hospital, and it's kind of interesting to see how they're like fighting for the hospital, and it's really cool.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that. I feel like we need to I just screenshotted my list to send you.
Yeah.
And I feel like we need to like watch one of each other's shows, because I do think that there was a lot here that we would both like.
Yeah,
so good.
You have to watch How to Get Away with Murder, and I'll watch Gilmore Girls.
Gilmore Girls has to be top. I was going to say Big Sky, I think you would like the most, but Gilmore Girls is the best show ever.
Okay.
And it's just one of those shows that's like, I don't know how to explain it. Kind of like How I Met Your Mother was, just like cozy, good vibes. Like it just makes you feel good. It's nothing that's like gonna make you super like depressed or grossed out or like feel weird after. It's just a happy, good show.
Yeah.
But I can't believe we just talked for an hour about shows.
Yeah.
We were kind of nervous that we would be a short episode, and here we are.
I know, here we are. We're wrapping things up though. So thank you guys so much for listening. We had so much fun recording these 2 episodes today, and it really wasn't that bad. So maybe we could do this more in the future.
Especially if we're going to be traveling. We want to make sure we always have an episode for y'all, because we can.
Yeah.
So why the hell not?
Why
we
not?
have so many topics to talk about. We will never run out. I'm very, very excited for what's to come.
Yes, me too. So thank you guys so much for listening. Definitely follow us on Instagram at We Run on Coffee, and you can rate us, give us 5 stars. We're on all the platforms. I know we listen.
Wherever you listen.
We list them like every episode, but you know where to find us now.
And if you watch any of the movies or shows that are on our list, or if you agree, or if you disagree and have a recommendation for us, let us know.
Yeah, definitely.
Comment on our Instagram, shoot us a DM, whatever you want to do.
Send us an email.
We'll talk about it. Yes, send us an email.
We run on coffeepodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to sponsor us, we're open.
Hit us up.
We'll do it.
We are so ready.
Yes, we are so ready.
We have a lot of listeners. Just ask for our analytics. We'll tell you.
Yeah, we will. We'll tell you.
No, it's so exciting. But thank you for listening, and we hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I guess that's it. So with that, I'm Arika.
I'm Marissa.
And we run on coffee.
Bye, guys.